Hey everybody, welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, inexpensive land in the state of Nuevo Mexico. So, today's property we're going to be looking at is here in Bernalillo County, home to Albuquerque. It is reference number BRNM3201. It is in Sedillo. It is in the Rancho Verde subdivision. It is 1.2 acres and it is priced at $40,000. And as always, if we click Learn More, we will learn some more. So before I get going, as always, this is a drone video. It will be replaced by this video you're watching right now of me talking. The drone video, however, will be moved to the bottom of the page. I would highly encourage anyone who's interested in getting a sense of the property and its surroundings, scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll be able to watch that. Okay, so first off, anyone who's watched a couple of these videos that I've made knows that I always boast that here at HemingwayLand.com, we pride ourselves on having the lowest priced property on a price per acre basis in any given county. So if in county X 10 acres cost $10,000, we're selling it for $5,000, so on and so forth. And typically, if you have a very rural county like say Torrance or Guadalupe or Quay, it's not hard to figure out pricing models. It's a fairly rural county, pricing's fairly uniform, not a lot of diversity, and so 5 acres on the easternmost part of the county is probably worth about the same amount as 5 acres on the westernmost part of the county. When you get into Bernalillo County, however, pricing models fluctuate a great deal. And one of the reasons is, let me just scroll down here. As always, if you click on latitude, longitude, it's going to bring up the property on a map. I just want to kind of show you first this. So as you can see from Google Maps, this is a subdivision, this is a subdivision, this is a subdivision, so on and so forth. And if you click on any of these, for instance, this property is located in the Rancho Verde subdivision. If you click on any of these, Google Maps is going to highlight what area that subdivision covers. So when you're trying to price Bernalillo County, it's a lot harder to do. 5 acres in one subdivision can be worth a lot more than in another subdivision. So it's not as easy to figure out. I would tell you that some subdivisions have paved roads, some of them boast underground utilities, some of them boast membership in what's called the Entrenoso Water and Wastewater Association. This property, however, that we're selling today, has all of these things. Ergo, it is a scooch more expensive. So if you're just looking at 1 acre lots within Bernalillo County, you're going to see that we are not the cheapest, as would normally be the case. But if you look at this subdivision, what you're going to see is that we are the cheapest by a lot. I, however, will return to that later in this video. So, first up, let's go back to where this is on a map. Okay, how to get out here. So first off, this is just an easy shot off the 40. You're taking this little exit right here, and basically you're going to take it till the road dead ends. I know it looks like this road kind of hooks a sharp right, but it actually doesn't in actuality. Anyway, but you're right here at the end of this cul-de-sac. This is where the property is, right here. And this is one of the really nice things about this property. I mean, aside from everything else that I've just mentioned, paved roads, underground utilities, water hookup, etc., you're here at the end of this cul-de-sac. So the only traffic you're ever going to have to worry about is you and this guy. That's it. There's not going to be anybody driving their motorcycle by at 2 a.m. You know, simultaneously, this is, I don't know if you could tell from Google Earth here, Google Maps, but this is a pretty upscale little subdivision here. Some very nice houses. And if that doesn't show you, you can scroll down here to our photo gallery and you can get a sense of what the homes are like in this area. So basically, if you're buying this property, you're not spending $40,000 to find a place to park your RV. You're buying this property to build your estate, to build your McMansion, whatever. This is one of the homes, and there are, let's see, we have other shots of homes down here. I don't believe, you know, I've read over the CCRs for this HOA. Obviously, this is all part of an HOA. I've read over the CCRs. I don't find them to be too onerous, and I don't find them, like architecturally, you look at this house, it doesn't look, or excuse me, it looks a lot different than, say, this house. I don't believe they have significant restrictions on, certainly not square footage or appearance of the house. I think just as long as it's nice is all that counts. And my guess is if you're spending $40,000 to buy the property and another X hundred thousand to build the home, my guess is you're probably going to fit that description. You're probably going to have a nice looking property. So probably not too much to worry about there. Anywho, let's go back to the map. So one of the best things about this property are the views. You can't see it here, but this property sits at the end of the cul-de-sac here, but it also sits at the top of a hill. This cul-de-sac is located at the top of a hill. Now, I tried to kind of bring it up here on Google Maps so I didn't have to finesse it during this video. You can kind of get a sense here of the hillside dropping off this way, the hillside dropping off this way. And if you want to do this in your free time, just kind of hit Control and then scroll this way, and you can get a sense of exactly how far above the rest of the valley here you are and what kind of views you would have from, say, the second story of your new home. All very nice. If this doesn't do it for you, by the way, if you can't get anything out of me doing this on Google Maps, come back to the photo gallery here and you'll get a sense of, I mean, this drone is not a million miles above the property. This is, fairly much, second story, third story of a house type of view that you would have here. Looking off to the east, the west, the north, the south, all spectacular views here. The mountains, the sunrise, the sunset, etc. So great property for that as well. I would tell you, generally speaking, if you look at the inventory on our website, it's a lot of rural, vacant, undeveloped land. It's rare that we get anything like this with these sort of features, or even a physical address. This property has its own physical address. We're not opposed to them. We just don't come upon them a lot. But when we do, we try to scoop them up because we think that property like this is is quite enviable to have an inventory. And it's the kind of thing that people would like to buy, and certainly would like to buy at this kind of discount. Anywho, by the way, just a quick thing here. If you want to go out and scout this property, as always, hang on, let me go back here. There it is. As always, just come up here to the directions button, enter your start point up here. It's going to give you turn-by-turn directions, or just bring the listing page up in your smartphone, click on these coordinates, and your smartphone should direct you out there. Anywho, let's talk about this. So we have the zoning out here is A2 rural agricultural. That is sort of superseded by the HOA, POA, the CCRs for the what's it called? Rancho Verde Homeowners Association, excuse me. So if you click on this PDF, it's going to bring up what all of those HOA rules and regulations are. This is 44 pages. I think most of this is a table of contents. Whatever the case, this should give you a good sense of what's allowed out there and what's not. And as I said, I've read over this. I don't find this to be too onerous. I don't find this to be too restrictive. I think it all makes sense if you've ever lived in an HOA before. Anyway, so I would encourage anybody who's interested in this to read over that as well. Annual taxes for this property are $700, but the HOA fee dues are only $60 a year, which is, that's pretty good. Let's talk about water. So as mentioned earlier, you have water through the Entrenosal Water and Wastewater Association, which tells me you probably also have septic available to you. Now, what does all of this mean? Well, down here in the county contact information, we have the Entrenosal Water and Wastewater Association website. If you click on that, bring that up. You'll be able to read about this, or you can just give them a call and say, hey, I'm looking to buy some property in the Rancho Verde subdivision. I understand that I would have access to water through you guys. Can you tell me a little bit about how this works? That, I would say, is the best way to learn more about this. Finally, yeah, I'd say that about covers it. All right, so finally, let's talk about price. As mentioned earlier, different subdivisions out here, pricing fluctuates between them. If you go on Zillow, for instance, and you bring up the Rancho Verde subdivision, what you will see are these are the prices of vacant lots in this area. These aren't lots with homes on them, these are vacant lots. So you've got $73,000, $85,000, $67,000, $85,000, $85,000, $75,000, $140,000. One thing I would tell you is down here in the gallery, we have a map of the subdivision. And as you can see, this 1.2 acre lot is pretty much, that's what the acreage is with all these lots. Maybe there's one that's 1.5, but there's no 10 acre lot out here. There's no 5 acre lot in this subdivision. Maybe this one's a 2 or 2.5 or something like that. But the point is that when you see these prices, where'd it go? Hang on. When you see these prices, this is all fairly much the price for a 1.2 acre lot. You'll notice one very close to us is being sold for $50,000. We're selling for $40,000. Simultaneously, I would also tell you, hang on, I'm going to scroll again. I would also tell you that the way that the county assessor has evaluated this land, so prices in the area between $50,000 and $80,000. The value of this property, according to the assessor, is $65,000. We're selling it for $40,000. And once again, if you look at the comps within here, you'll see the cheapest thing you're going to find is about $50,000. 85, 80, 50, 95, 80, 60, etc. But that extra savings, of course, can go a long way toward building the house of your dreams out here. Anyway, finally, if you are interested in purchasing this property, I would tell you that if you just click this Buy Now button, it's going to ask you First of all, it's going to take you to a secure checkout form where we ask you for a $1,000 non-refundable earnest money deposit. Now, the way that this typically works with properties like this, anything in this price point, we encourage you to close through a title company. We have already closed through a title company. We know that we have clear and marketable title with all of our properties, but of course we have a title company backing us up on this. Stewart Title of Albuquerque says, yes, this property is clear and marketable. There are no back taxes. There are no liens associated with the property. If you want the same assurances, you should close through a title company as well. That being said, we like to ask for a certain amount of money up front that proves that the buyer is serious and that nobody's time is getting wasted. So we ask for a $1,000 deposit, and that helps facilitate that. By the way, some people call and say, can you write up the contract first and then I'll send the money? And in my experience, you write up a contract, nobody ever sends money. It's a waste of everybody's time. So I would encourage everybody here that on our FAQ page, if you scroll down to one of the last questions in the first section, can you draft the contract first so I know we're agreeing to deposit? If you click on this little link right here, you're going to see what one of our typical sale and purchase agreements looks like for property. As you can see, this is very simple. This is one page and then one page with signatures. And this contract that we have here is very generic, but it's also very standard. We rarely change the language in these contracts much. So aside from dictating what the property is, who the buyer is, who the seller is, and what the title company is, these things don't change a whole lot. Anyway, so if you want to give that a look, you can see what that's like. Of course, if anybody has any questions about this property, feel free to give us a call, 702-919-7170. We're always here to answer whatever questions we can answer. But of course, the county is usually a good resource for that, or a better resource for that than we are, or even things like the HOA or Entranos are good resources to call. All right, hope this was informative. If you want to see more videos that we create here at HemingwayLand.com, feel free to click the little subscribe button down here below the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. 12 minutes of me talking. I commend you.